We're installing some gorgeous recycled glass kitchen countertops coming up next on the At Home channel at Buildopedia.com. Well, our kitchenette is really shaping up nicely. I think the cherry cabinets look great. Hey there, I'm Jeff Wilson, and now we need some countertops. And installing countertops is something that you can do, although you may need a little help with the heavy lifting part of it. Our installation is pretty simple. We got two pieces. We have one piece back here in the corner, a small piece, and then we have a larger piece, the main piece here, that's going to hold our sink and our faucet. Now, I like to put the pieces in place, as with a lot of projects, kind of dry lay them and make sure they fit before I do the final install. And we've got them kind of lined up here, right the way I like them, so now we're going to pull them back out and get them ready to install. This piece, it's fine, ready to install. This piece, however, we want to install the sink and the faucet in it first before we install it. It will save us some time actually working underneath the sink base later, so easier to install them outside on our workspace. Now, you also notice that here in the hole, which was cut by our manufacturer, we've got some bracing in the sink base that we need to cut. So I'm going to mark the places where we'll need to cut that, since I've got it laid right where I want it. And we'll come back and cut this in a little bit so that our sink fits in. But now it looks like I'm going to need a little help to get this out of here. Okay, we just got a few holes to drill here. One hole for the faucet, and then we'll flip it over and drill some holes for the anchors, for the brackets that will hold the sink in place. Pretty simple operation. I've made some marks with a China marker, and then I'm going to use this 1 3/8 inch hole saw. It's got a diamond bit on it, a little bit of water to keep that saw cool, but it should be pretty quick work.
Often it's easier to keep the hole saw on the mark by starting it at an angle. Once you have a small groove, tilt it up perpendicular to the surface. Add a little water periodically to keep the bit cool.
All right, we're going to get this sink set in place, get it all squared up on the hole. Check it from underneath here. Now that it's in place, I'm going to mark the outline so I can take it away and set my anchor holes. Now we need to drill some holes so that we can set our anchors here. What we need to do is be able to set these brackets so that our sink will be held in place. That means I have to drill holes, set the anchors, and then we'll be able to bolt through this way. I'm going to again use a little diamond hole saw. This is a 3/8 hole saw for these holes. But this time I don't want to drill all the way through the surface, so I'm going to use a little bit of painter's tape to mark on my bit how deep I want to make these holes. Mark my hole positions. And again, we're going to use a little bit of water on the surface to keep this nice and cool. I'm just going to carefully knock these anchors into place. All right, now we're going to install the sink. We're going to put a bead of silicone around the edge where the lip will contact the underside of the countertop, and then we'll put our brackets in here. Right now we're going to get our faucet installed here. Pretty simple operation. We're going to poke these down in here. I'm going to get a bead of silicone on there though.
With the faucet in place and properly aligned, secure it to the underside with the mounting nut.
I'm going to install the basket for the drain now. Got gaskets on there. We're just going to have to thread them together. All right, first thing we're going to do is install some ledgers. On the ends of this particular piece, we don't have any support, so we want to add support by adding some ledger boards. Just a couple pieces of 2x2 will lend support. What I want to do is make a mark using a 4-foot level. I can mark along the wall here and in this direction. That's going to be the top edge of our ledgers, but we're also going to want to find studs to drill into, so use my stud finder. Now we need to make these notches where the sink is going to go in, so I'll cut those out using this saber saw. Now with some thinner materials you may have to put down an underlayment like some plywood, but since our Enviroglass is so thick we can just apply it directly to the tops of the cabinets. Now you'll use some adhesive caulk for that. And what I've done here is I've taped off using painter's tape the front of my cabinet so that if the adhesive caulk does kind of squeeze out of the front, it won't get onto my cabinets. Have a nice, neat installation.
Once we have the countertop exactly where we want it, the final step is to seal any joints. Check the manufacturer's recommendations for the best type of joint filler for your countertop. I'm using some clear silicone caulking to seal this joint. A little tape on both sides of the joint helps keep the caulking off the surface and makes for easy cleanup.
Okay, next we're going to hook up our supply lines. We've got a hot side that's clearly labeled from the faucet and a cold side. I've got my hot here and my cold here. I'm just going to hook them up correctly. They've got rubber gaskets, so no need for tape. We're going to finger tighten them first, and then we'll come back and tighten them with a pair of channel locks.
Next, I'll install the drain. The drain has several pieces. There's a tail piece, a trap, this angled piece, and then there's the run to the wall. I like to dry fit everything first, and then I'll glue up my 2 connections to the wall. Primer on all surfaces, 4 in this case, and then the actual glue. Make sure that they all align well and hold in place for 20 seconds or so. Just tighten down the other connections for the trap. With everything connected, turn on the water and check for any leaks.
Well, that's it. This kitchen's looking pretty good. Thanks for being with us. I'm Jeff Wilson. Come back for more home improvement projects on the At Home channel at buildopedia.com.